You put your right foot in, you take your right foot out. You put your right foot in and you guessed it, you shake it all about. The hokey pokey sounds like what many women are doing in midlife, including myself. You haven't left an old situation, but you're already gone. It's where there's something new calling to you and you put your right foot in to test the waters. You can sense that it's good for you, but you take your right foot right back out and do the hokey pokey instead of leave the old situation. Maybe you haven't left the career yet, but really you're already gone. Maybe it's a relationship. Whatever it is, your body is still going through the motions of the life you built in your 20s and 30s, while your mind and heart have moved on to other places. Maybe they run back sometimes, mostly out of fear, of regret, or some sense of misplaced responsibility, but you know you've moved on. So what's actually holding you back? You're listening to the Midlife Plot Twist podcast, and this is episode 32. Hello and happy Monday. I can't believe that I am already at the start of my third week in my master's program. Only 3 more weeks after that, and I will be done my first course for this new degree. I can't believe it, and I still haven't resolved what's happening with my position at the university, which is what I want to chat about today. But before I do, I have an exciting announcement to make again this week. Well, it's the same announcement as last week, but it's on a new site. So, as you know, I've been trying to come up with other ways of interacting with you, dear listener. And I decided to set up a newsletter. It's called Letters from a Woman in Midlife Crisis. When you subscribe, I'll send you a weekly newsletter that dives into the so-called midlife crisis as it relates to those of us who identify as women. I will be mailing out my letters every week on Mondays, just like I release the podcast on Mondays. You can subscribe to receive Letters from a Woman in Midlife Crisis in the show notes. Yes, there will be a link in my show notes. But if there's anything wrong with that link, you can always type in the URL. It is substack.com/@ Letters from a Woman in Midlife Crisis to receive the weekly newsletter directly in your email inbox. So, on with the show. As you might know, if you've been with me from the start, I initially created this podcast to chronicle leaving my career and starting over in my 40s. That was my midlife plot twist. But I quickly realized that my midlife plot twist involves far more than my career situation. So over the last several months, I've shared on all kinds of topics related to midlife as I figure out this stage of my life with you 1 week at a time. This week, I'm feeling restless and a bit confused. I haven't resigned from my position at the university, but I haven't started back in my position yet either. For the last few weeks, I've told a few people that I'm stuck in limbo between the insurance company who manages my long-term disability benefits and the university accepting my accommodations and my gradual return to work plan. And that is true. And as I say this, I can hear my voice in my head saying, "Who are you kidding?" Because honestly, I feel that in my heart of hearts, I have already left this position behind. And truly, I want to get on freely with my bright new path. So what is actually holding me back? Last week, I was asked to introduce myself to some people, and I introduced myself as a professor at the local university. And when I did, I felt this twinge. It was subtle, but I noticed it. I thought to myself, oh my God, am I soon not going to be able to introduce myself this way? Am I really doing this? And then I got all screwed up about things like, what will I tell people when I introduce myself? I'm a 40-something part-time graduate student for now. And yes, that is exactly what I would say. And so here I am, and I suspect that there are many others out there who are experiencing this strange moment of going through the motions with the old life they built in their 20s and 30s, while their spirit, mind, heart, energy, whatever else has already left. It could be a marriage or a long-term relationship or a job or a career or a city they used to love or their hometown that no longer serves them. And maybe you're one of them. What about you? In what area of your life are you going through the motions? I would bet that there are many of us doing this in midlife. I can't help but think about a marriage or a long-term relationship that you haven't officially ended, but you have emotionally left. It's, I don't know, it's such a parallel to me. I've been there before, and wow, it is difficult. You're still in the relationship, but only technically. You still share space, maybe, and manage your usual routines. You still respond to what needs responding to. From the outside, nothing looks particularly wrong, but internally, something has shifted to the point that you stop imagining a shared future. You stop reaching for them first. You stop being curious about them. Life keeps going along, and you know you've already stepped halfway out the door emotionally, but you're still there standing in the house because you haven't finished making sense of what leaving would actually mean. Up until this point, you've been focused on what staying means. And you thought that staying meant loyalty, security, clarity, predictability. Staying meant being responsible too. But what about leaving? It's time to shift to that. This is different, of course, to my situation right now, but it's very familiar in its essence. Leaving isn't just a logical decision, it's an identity shift, and there is a lot to let go of. At the same time, there's a lot to gain by leaving and getting on with life. So why aren't I just leaving yet? I have the ability to, and I'm not doing it. And I think when I really boil it down, it's simply fear. And more precisely, I think it's fear of being alone. In the case of leaving a relationship, that makes sense. But you might be asking, like, how does that make sense in terms of leaving my career? And I think I'm realizing that fear of being alone shows up as, in this situation, if I don't have this big identity title of professor anymore to sort of build up who I am, who am I actually left with? And is that good enough? Is it good enough to not be a professor anymore and to just be Jen? Am I good enough? Oh, those are big questions. And I don't have an answer for that today. I mean, of course, I know I'm supposed to say, yes, I'm good enough. Of course, I'm good enough. But, there is that part in me and maybe in you that never feels good enough. And it might be loud sometimes, it might be quiet, but it's there. Sigh. Can that really be it? Like, is it as simple as, it's not simple, but like, I'm not taking the leap because I don't yet feel good enough to let it go? I sort of think to myself, like, who do you think you are? But yeah, you can probably tell I'm genuinely processing this as I talk about it. Maybe I should have thought about this first. But I keep thinking about like, what will I have? Like, what will happen if I leave this position? Will I be okay? And I know the answer is yes, but I keep kind of waiting to see if something else comes up. But I haven't really taken the time to think of what is it doing to me to stay right now. And I don't know, it kind of feels like I'm at this sort of pinnacle moment in my life, or like the ultimate test in a quest, where it's up to me to decide and up to me to just take the leap. I think I've been waiting for external forces to force me to do one thing or another, and I don't want others to choose my life for me. So I'm going to sit with that for now and process it for a bit. Let me know what you think by subscribing to my new newsletter. And it's at substack.com/@ letters from a woman in midlife crisis, all one word, to subscribe to that newsletter. I am looking forward to sharing with you next week. Until then, be well.